I don't know why I'm doing this. Hi guys, my name is Elizabeth and this is my first booktube video, which is super exciting. I wanted to be on booktube since probably 2013. I decided to go the bookstagram route. That's probably where all of you guys are from watching me right now. I don't know who else would stumble upon this video, but anyways, yes, I've been bookstagramming at Tomes and Tea since 2014. Booktube is what made me fall in love with reading. It's where I found out that YA was a genre itself, and I fell head over heels in love with Booktube. I became obsessed. Then I started taking pictures of my own books and grew my following, and it's all really exciting, but I'm getting bored with it. It's really hard to take pictures that I don't critique too much, and so my contents just getting kind of old, getting kind of boring, and I thought I would spice things up and do a YouTube video, which this may or may not work out. This may or may not see the light of day, ever. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here and try this out. Today, I wanted to film a books I brought with me to college video. I think it's a good way to give you guys a feel of like some of my favorite reads, some of the reads on my to be read list, and yeah, I am really excited. Just a little background, I am a second year here at the University of Texas at Austin, and so every year I am faced with the problem of choosing from my hundreds of books back home in Dallas, which ones to bring here. And I can't usually read for pleasure during school. It's just too hectic. I don't get enough time. It's also kind of why my bookstagram has been kind of lame lately. I'm sure you all know, I've seen it, maybe not, it's okay. Anyways, now that quarantine is a thing, I've had a lot of time to read, a lot of more time to write up blog posts, take more pictures of books, and so I thought now entering the booktube community this is the best time to do it. I always thought it was maybe a little oversaturated and that I didn't need to contribute to it, but I am bored in the house and I'm in the house bored, and so we're due. I have compiled a few books here, some of my favorites that will travel with me no matter where I'm living. These are books I'm bringing with me. I have quite a few more in the back, of course, obviously noteworthy, but those are ones I grabbed before the shelter in place was put in place so that I would not be bored to death and not run out of things to read. But I did put together a little bit of a list. Some are full of favorites, some I haven't read. Most of these are just gonna be books I've read because I am in a big rereading mood. I don't feel like reading anything new right now. I just want to revisit my old favorites because I haven't read in so long because of school, and now is the perfect time to do it. So the first book that I brought with me to college is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. This is a book that I read in the 6th grade, and I felt such a deep connection to the characters. I loved it so much. I reread it every year after that, just because each time I read it, I had grown as a person and I could relate to different aspects of the book in different ways. Yet to reread it while I've been in college, but I'm very excited to do so. I'm sure all of you have heard of this book and or watched the movie, which is also amazing. But it's basically written, the main character, Charlie, writes to a friend, dear friend. It's written in letters, and he just talks about his experiences in high school, his home life, finding new friends, and it is such a heartwarming, good book. Makes me cry every time. I feel so connected to Charlie and all of the characters. The fact that it's written to a friend, which you could be the friend yourself, just makes you feel even more connected to the protagonist. And yeah, I love it. It deals with some pretty heavy topics, so if you're gonna read it, I would do a little bit of research first just to stay safe. But yeah, this is one of my favorite books ever. It'll be with me till the day I die. So the next series that I always bring with me to college, brought this to my dorm last year too, is The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. If you're here from my Instagram, you you know what I'm gonna say. My favorite series of all time, hands down. Best quartet ever, best series ever. Got the rest of them hanging out over there. So this is by Maggie Seawater. I hope I said that. Anyways, yeah, so this book just basically follows a group of friends, all very different in their own ways, and they go on a quest to find a dead Welsh king. And once this Welsh king is found, it is said that he will grant anybody with a wish. And so each of the individual characters have their own wishes. And so the journey itself, finding them, spans through all 4 books. To me, the plot of the book I do not care about whatsoever. It is the characters that just, I don't know. Maggie Seawater has a way of writing characters. She is the master of it, I think. Each and every one of them are my favorite. If you ask me who my favorite book characters are, it's probably gonna be the Gangsy, all of them. They're just so well written, everything about them. They're so human, they're so real and raw that I could care less about the plot of this book because I just want to read the characters and how they interact with each other, what they're thinking, what their little small quirks are. And so I think that's why I love it so much. I know not a lot of people love this book because it is pretty slow paced, but because I'm so in love with the characters and the writing style and just the beautiful mystery, magical aspect of it, it's just my favorite series of all time. And I'm also currently rereading it probably for the 3rd time. I'm on the 2nd book right now, The Dream Thieves, and it just makes me so happy being able to revisit these guys. And yeah, this series, favorite ever. Sorry, Mom, might be getting a ley line tattoo. So I'll give you a little sneak peek there. The next book series that I brought with me to college is the Captive Prince trilogy. The other ones are sitting up there. I'm also actually currently rereading this with 2 of my friends because we're obsessed with the trilogy. It's amazing. This book basically follows our main character, Damon. He is the rightful heir to his throne, but in the beginning of the book, he is betrayed by his half-brother who steals his throne, and he throws Damon into slavery. Damon is shipped off to an enemy kingdom, Vare, I believe. Nameless slave. They don't know that Damon is the rightful heir to their enemy kingdom, and so it's basically follows him as he has to navigate this foreign territory surrounded by people that hate his kind, all while concealing the secret that he is actually the rightful heir to their enemy throne. And it's very, very good, very juicy. There is some slow burning, beautiful romance that builds through all 3 books. It's amazing. This is an adult novel, and so it deals with some pretty heavy topics. It's not YA, there's lots of nitty gritty details and stuff, and so do a little research before reading this one as well. Wouldn't read it as a bedtime story to your kids, just don't do that. Series that I brought with me, which I have not finished yet, so I brought them with me, one, because it's one of my favorite series ever, but also I need to conclude the trilogy, and that is the Queen of the Tearling trilogy. And this book is so amazing. Let me just say that right off the bat. It's so amazing. It basically follows our main character who lived her life in hiding. She lived a simple life in a cottage until her mother, the queen, passes away, and she is taken to the royal keep where she now has to become a queen. She lived a completely normal life and now must come into this new role that she had no preparation for whatsoever. And so it's really amazing. There's lots of political intrigue, and there's a rival queen, and it's super, super good. It bends time. It's not necessarily set only in this time. In the 2nd book, we get to see a lot of the modern world, so I don't believe this is a high fantasy read. I think of it maybe more as post-apocalyptic. So far into the future of our modern society now today, though. It's just very interesting. You learn more and more as you go, and I would highly recommend picking. So the next book that I brought with me to college that I actually have yet to read, The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. This blew up. I started seeing it all over Bookstagram. I believe it's also going to be made into a movie, and so I had to pick a copy for myself. It basically follows a main character, I believe in whatever city, county. Girls are told that they have the power to lure men in or make women mad with jealousy. And so on their 16th birthday, they are released into the woods to release all of their powers, they're banished, release their magic into the wild so they can return purified and ready for marriage. And so that sounds really interesting. And so I believe, I have yet to read it, but I believe it's just going to be the character dealing with that on her 16th birthday, which is called The Grace Year. She has to obviously go into the woods, fend for herself from the other women in there, and the men that are also in the woods, called poachers, I guess, who try and steal the women away. And it seems like it's going to be a very thrilling read, but also some feminist undertones that I'm really excited for, and I've heard very good things about it. This book, and also one of my favorite books that I brought with me to college, is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I think this and the Captive Prince trilogy are the only two adult novels I'm sharing on here. Possibly the rest are YA. But so this one basically, it reminds me a lot of The Raven Boys. The dynamic of the characters, the way it's written, it kind of felt all very nostalgic to me when I read it, which is why I think I loved it. It basically follows a group of students at a university studying classics, and I don't want to give away too much. I went into this book not knowing much about it, but basically they are obviously studying, they're living their normal lives, but they end up murdering somebody. And so you are just having to, it's very character based as well. You're having to watch as these characters slowly slip from normal college students into corruption and evil, and it's very dramatic. It's so well written and beautiful. It is one of my favorite books of all time. I would say it kind of reminds me of like an adult version of the Raven cycle. Just the way that the characters interact, the way it's written. There are some like weird parallels, which is really cool, because apparently Maggie Steve Otter hadn't read this book before writing the Raven cycle. So I think that's really cool. I've also got some tabbed points in here. It's beautifully written. It took me a little bit to get through the first, I'd say, 200 pages or so. It's a very dense read. So if you're ready for a book like that, I would highly recommend this. But if you're looking for something quick, light, easy, fun, this is not the book for you. But I promise you will not regret reading it. It is amazing. For the last book series that I brought with me to college, I'm sharing with you Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moning. This is an adult paranormal romance, I believe. So another not YA read, but very good. This basically just follows our main character, Michaela. Her sister went to, I believe, study abroad in Ireland and was murdered. And she left a cryptic voicemail on Michaela's phone. She travels to Ireland and she is swept into this sexy, dangerous, dark, paranormal world where she's basically just trying to figure out who murdered her sister, and along the way meets Baron, who is one of my favorite male characters ever. It's an amazing read and I highly recommend it. My roommate came in the room, so with that, I'm done with this video. Anyways, highly recommend this. Quite a long series too, so it'll keep you very entertained. It's definitely a series I recommend if you want to get out of a reading slump. Okay, that's it for this video. My first time, gonna get better, hopefully. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope I recommended a few books that y'all are interested in reading. Bye!